Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake Up, Wake Up. Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey. Ho. Hey. Wake up, wake up. Ho. No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Everyone, happy Friday, October 23rd. I'm Marc, and this is
Kristen Becker.
Hey, welcome to Wake Up in Provincetown, y'all. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am super good.
Wow.
As part of our rotating cast of characters, Kristen's here in the co-host seat. Yeah.
Excited. Loosening it up.
Yeah. Let's get right to it. How was your Women's Week?
It was great. I had a great time. We had lots of shows, lots of what felt like a good beginning of intergenerationally. There were some young, right? Did you notice there were? Not everybody was very. It was a good mix. It was a really good mix. I did my show. I did a solo show, did a Foxy, did a Star-Crossed, did all the things I like to do, and then I slept.
Okay. And I think the things that you like to do in the shows and stuff is it speaks to a younger crowd. It speaks to everybody, but it also like brings in a younger crowd or a younger demographic.
The dating game, Star-Crossed Astrology dating game show always does really well because it's silly and fun and like physical challenges and stuff. And Foxy too. Yeah, I think you're right. Thank you. That's a kind thing to say, Marc, on a Friday morning.
Surprisingly, from my.
I mean, I didn't expect it.
No, I was on a bus coming back from a trip, and I was.
Oh, I saw your Sappy post.
Oh my God! I was on this bus, and because the ferry wasn't running, so they sent us a bus. It was very deluxe and lovely, but I was clocking everybody coming on the bus, and I was like, oh, Women's Week, and then everybody was on, and it was like quiet.
Yeah.
And then it started to get chatty, and everyone started to be like, oh, what do you know? What's this for you? And you were like, somebody's like, I've been coming here for 30 years, and then there were people that Lilies. Do you know what a Lily is?
No.
Late in life lesbian.
Oh, yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and they were in their 60s. They ditched the husbands after all those years of being prescribed as the shoebox they had to fit
Can
in.
I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I've been thinking about this a lot because, sexuality can be fluid. It's, and this idea where you would marry a man when they were still young and strong and could lift things, and then, right? And then leave them when the relationship is down to conversation. Like, I think that makes sense in a way for people. I'm just saying, like,
look,
don't go the other way. Don't be like, be a lesbian, have a lady partner, and then like tag into a dude when he's not strong enough to lift things, and he's gonna have hairy ears. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is
all right now. Okay. I'm sitting right here. No, I love that take on it. So guys, watch out. Those women might just be for your young. No,
well, for the babies, but okay.
It was really sweet to see, and it was people that were coming for their first time, and they were coming from San Francisco, Seattle, from the middle of the country, from South, like all these different places. They were coming. They were spending their hard-earned dollars to come for Women's Week, and it spoke to the branding and what the inclusion and bringing people in, and they were coming for community. That was like the biggest thing.
No, that is, I think, what we have to recognize as this space in Provincetown is that we do hold this space for the entire world that is kind of under attack right now.
Right.
And there were most certainly a bunch of women who had never been here before, had never been to Women's Week, had never been to P-Town. And I thought that was just, I had met one couple who, they were a little tipsy outside, they were like, we decided 2 days ago to come. And I was like, great. And they're like, from Indiana. And she's like, and I'm not the spontaneous one. She's the spontaneous one. And she said, let's go to this thing. They saw a reel. We did work extra hard to kind of create a little bit more online content this year and try to make sure that we were promoting stuff and boosting stuff kind of out into the world. And these women were basically like, we're in charge of us. They got in their car, I'll say truck. They got in their truck
Subaru.
and drove here from Indiana kind of on a whim to just experience Women's Week.
Yeah, and every day I was talking to Michelle Atchison last night, and she's like, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And we had the Dyke March that went to the No Kings protest. I think it was like everybody I saw in town, even despite the weather, which was horrible for a few days.
Just the first few days.
Yeah.
And then it was beautiful. And you know what? Sometimes you got to get through the storms to see the sunrise, Marc.
Oh, yeah. How lovely.
Michelle crushed it.
Yeah.
And the universe, whoever put, because I don't think they planned for the No Kings to end up on Women's Week weekend, but perfect scheduling. We love to march.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic week, and congratulations to all the organizers of Women's Week, and here's to many more. And now it's Trans Week.
Yeah, right into it.
And I've noticed a big, a bit of a change. There's a lot of younger faces.
Yes.
All different people on the gender spectrum in town and stuff.
Do we think that this is all a byproduct of persecution, right? Like, so we had these years of like, okay, those of us who had experienced kind of a shittier existence in this country had kind of always been coming here. And then there was this little gap for a minute where there was a lot of progress made. And so there was a younger generation that didn't necessarily feel the need for these spaces. And now that the oppression is coming back at a record pace, that those younger people are now searching for the things that we all searched for generations ago.
I think yes, it's that, but I also think one can go into their little magic box and find community that it was harder to seek out in the past.
Right.
And I think it's just easier, and I think that the umbrella of what was Fantasia Fair has been opened to be Trans Week, which is inclusive of more people, or inviting more people in than would have normally, people would have looked at it from the outside and said, that's not for me. And I think that they have very consciously said, no, it is for you. It is for all people on this spectrum. And I think the town is very much cognizant of that and trying to make sure that everyone feels comfortable here no matter where you are. And it's great to see young people. And we have some guests, some of the organizers and leaders of Trans Week that are going to be on with us in a little bit, and we'll talk about what they've done to encourage younger people to come. So
nice.
Lots of cool things. What else did you get up to this week? Or did you just relax?
I literally was kind of sick from like the last 3 days. So I was supposed to, I actually woke up last night, like middle of the day. I was like, I think I'm feeling better. When I woke up this morning, I was like, you're fine.
You're fine.
But no, I woke up Monday, it was like, and I've been kind of laying low working from the laptop. So kind of low key, really want to go to Bodega was opening last night, right? Wanted to go to that. Every lesbian who was a lesbian was supposed to be there last night, and a they and a them. But so I'm excited to hear how that went out in Truro. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of the space. It's Christina, right?
It's Chef Christina,
And I look, anything, they want to be a year-round business in Truro. Which is
small space, seats like 20, but like bites and high-quality cocktails and
I
mocktails
salute and support anyone who tries to have a small business here year-round, because despite what Sheila Lyons said at a forum I was at 2 weeks ago, this is a year-round community. People do live here year-round, and we should try to make it so that people who do live here can continue to live here with these so-called affordable housing projects throughout Cape Cod. Yes, we can have them on Cape Cod. That is the word I got from the county commissioner that you all elect, Sheila Lyons.
What did she say?
She went out in public. I was at a climate stories through the state climate department, which is a cabinet position in the state department. That one of the things Maura Healy set up was this cabinet position.
Your thirst for knowledge, sir. You go to all the things.
I was asked to speak at it as a member of the Coastal Resiliency Advisory Board. Because I had experience with the flooding in town and what we've done to mitigate or prepare, et cetera, et cetera. So there was someone from the Wellfleet Shellfish industry. There was a fisherman who said, you know, if you're buying cod on Cape Cod, it ain't Cape Cod cod.
Yeah.
Like you are getting a frozen product, which is good quality, but it's just not here. But we have new fish moving into our water, and we should eat them. So
what are the new fish in town? Tell the lesbian.
Wait, a black sea bass.
I love a black sea bass.
Tilefish. There's like, there are things that are now.
And is that just the warming of the water?
It's the warming of the water.
Okay.
It's a change. There's no more lobster industry in Connecticut or Rhode Island, and the Massachusetts industry is also becoming less because it's all moving farther and farther north. The Gulf of Maine is one of the quickest warming bodies of water in the world. So the lobsters are migrating up and out. So anyway, there was a woman who had a family property in on that island where that house that they had to tear down because it was going to fall in, the Blouch House or whatever it was called.
Yep.
So she had the property next door, and in her ownership of that property, good for her for having it, but she lost an acre of land within a decade. So they invited us to tell these stories, and then at the end, questions from the audience. And Sheila Lyons, your elected county, county commissioner, said, "Well, I hear these stories, and it's great for you and all, but I just think that we just keep making same mistakes over and over." And I'm like, "We're talking about how we're all trying to come up with new things, and And she said, I don't know, why do we keep inviting people to move here to these so-called affordable housing things? We can't support it. This is not a year-round economy. This is not a year-round community. We should stop telling people to move here." And I was like, it wasn't the place for me to push back on that statement because that was not what we were there to do.
Okay.
And I know you feel differently, but that was not why I was.
No, I might actually agree with Sheila. I'm kind of like, listen, I need a 9-month economy. I need 3 months. All you people who are like, let's work year round, get out of here.
But
what are you talking about?
People that
we work till January, we sleep January, February, March. And now I don't think that there should definitely be some things open, of course. But I don't think we have to push hard to get more people here January, February, March. I'm content with 9 months.
When I speak of the year-round economy and people living here, I speak specifically about teachers and people that work in our healthcare industry and the things and the people that work for the town departments, the people that need to be able to live here year-round in order to make these
functioning town.
Yeah. But that was the quote, and then she said, "And I speak for my other county commissioners as well." And I was like, "Ooh."
Ooh, did you call them?
On the record, are we now? And then a little side conversation she was having where I was like this, but pretending not to listen. She was like, "I don't know why everyone's listening to Julian, and we shouldn't be listening to Maura having these seasonal community acts signed and stuff." I was like, "Oh, girl, I can't wait for the next election." And Sheila got me my health insurance back when she worked for Outer Cape.
And look how you repay her.
And look how I repay her, throwing her under the bus. No, I was kind of really shocked that was the statement. And then other people in the room were like, "I've been waiting for someone to say this for years." And and I was like, "Oh, you got yours."
I'll be honest with you, I don't know the economics of it enough to speak with any knowledge about whether we should or shouldn't, or whether we've thrown money away or we haven't. So hate me if you must.
No, I'm not. No, I would rather you not. I would rather you say I don't know enough about it.
I don't know. Obviously, no one wants these communities to go away or to become a vacation-only spot, right? I'm a year-round resident. I live here year-round. There are definitely times in February where I wish there were a few more restaurants open. Yeah. I'm also not hard into the push of like, we need to always be cranking out things, because the rate at which not the teachers, but the rate at which the hospitality industry exists in the summer, I don't believe is sustainable.
Oh gosh, no.
In
no,
a
no,
year-round
I'm not
way,
calling for
right?
that. No. There needs to be downtime because it is so concentrated and it's so severe. And
it's theater work basically. You go on the road for 5 months and then you get to rest for a couple.
No. I don't mean that we should have like these booming, and we never will, because no one in the wintertime is going to come, like, but there's
global warming's coming.
Oh, I know.
Just you wait.
The season October is now September.
Exactly.
What used to be August. Anyway, I was very surprised, and I immediately called my friends at the newspaper, my friends in the senator's office, and I was like, "Wow, did you know this?" They're like, "Yeah."
Did you hear what she was saying about you?
Yeah. So, anyway, when you go to vote, just think about it. So that's that. I did also. So you have something coming up with the SAS House, Summer of SAS House?
I do. So we are working to, just trying to figure out, number one, how do we maintain this space that is giant, as we all know. This year we had our sustainability capital campaign. I'm happy to report We had a $30,000 matching grant for a solar install. We did meet that matching grant. So we will be getting solar put on next month, or probably December, truthfully.
Awesome.
And then an extension of that, as the temperature in the country is kind of being raised on queer folks, we are launching Off-Season at the Sass House, which is basically an affordable retreat space for young queer leaders, for small groups who maybe need a leadership board retreat. Are you in the trenches in Mississippi and you would really benefit from having some time away to just think and retreat as a group? And so we're launching that program this year. We got our short-term rental certificate. We did all the things, but it's not, we're going to rent out a room here and there. It's a whole house retreat style thing. Sleep 10. Honestly, sleep 10 comfortably. If you want to bring a couple air mattresses, throw a few more. You know, we've been talking to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence for a retreat. We've been talking to, the Gay Men's Chorus, who might need to come down and perform for a couple nights. Just how do we continue our mission of keeping Provincetown accessible in the off season for people who need to be in this space or would benefit from being in this space.
And you get to be with the organization, your organization, and cook meal, and it's
exactly
a bonding thing as well.
You take over the whole house. It's yours. Our house manager, Marissa Miller, will be on site for any emergencies that might happen. Marissa Miller, our house manager, who's also the Bearded Mistress, who has a show here on Thursday, but we'll get back to that. But anyway, you like that? Who we love. So, as the organization's growing, we're getting, more full-time staff, and we're just kind of being able to expand it out. I keep saying that. I feel like 2 years ago, somebody dropped a giant boat in the water, and I've just been trying to not throw up for 2 years, right? Catching stuff that's falling off of shelves and and now the boat's kind of steadied and we're able to kind of move it forward. And that's kind of what we were able to do this year with sustainability, and now expanding that into off season and help us offset our expenses of maintaining a space that size throughout the year.
Right, because it ain't cheap.
It is not cheap.
It ain't cheap.
It is in a way that I really didn't appreciate.
Right.
The house, and we'll talk about the history of the house, but just we saw a little rotted wood, and then we come to find out there's 4 weight-bearing posts that are rotted, and a $5,000 repair is now a $20,000 repair.
David just put it here.
Yeah, because it's historic. It's historic, and so just something like that for a small not-for-profit, that's a tenth of our operating.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's great to be gifted this thing.
Super grateful.
But then it comes with now you have to maintain
the reality of it.
Yeah.
The reality.
How many kids did you have this year?
We had 8.
8, and that's what you're going to looking to do next year?
For now, that's what we're looking to do next year. We did discover, in the process of putting in solar, we did discover that the attic of that space is large and viable.
Oh, cool.
Which is an interesting, that might be, we're not there yet, but as we continue to fundraise, we could, so we have 11, there were 11 in-house, because there was house manager, resident advisor, peer mentor, Ethan. We could comfortably sleep, according to the law, 16 in that space.
Okay.
And that's what that's what all of our stuff is what it permitted for in town. So there could be more.
Okay. That's cool.
I'm not sure it's next year, but I could see it. What I'm learning is we need more to create kind of a mass of that demographic, right? And we can do more programming if we had 20, if we had 25. And then we could start looking at more of a year-round situation.
Right, because it sort of becomes, you have to have the tipping point of
you just got to have them, right now with 8, we do once a week outings or whatever, but once you're we want to do a movie night or whatever, then you end up with 2 kids because everyone's working, whereas you get 20, 24.
Right, you're always going to have 10.
You're always going to have a few
to
do the things,
that makes
right?
Sense.
Yeah.
That sounds like
I'm excited. So off-season at the Sass House. Check it out. It's up on the website now. We just launched it.
Awesome.
And it's, just come be in this space if you need to be from anywhere around the country.
Awesome. I this week went over to the Commons and helped Jason Potter, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, put together, I basically helped him do the mechanics of put together a sculpture that he put outside of the Commons. It's really cool. Do we have a photo, Sam? Yeah. And it's just this whirling cyclone of just...
I did see that.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, that's really cool.
I love temporary site-specific works.
Yeah.
He's also doing a workshop this weekend and next weekend on doing similar things or forged materials, etc. I think there's a couple slots left, so you can check that out at the Commons. Under
Renaissance Man.
Oh my God! And we've had rehearsals for Dune Inn.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Yes, we did a Cody play this week with the Coastal Resilience Advisory Board, which was really fun to see the eggheads Tim Famolari and Oriana and stuff, or people like, being on stage and being fun, and Michaela, et cetera. So that was really fun. But we are deep into rehearsals for the Cody plays, which runs 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th at the Gifford House. And that's a new play that he wrote. We workshopped it a couple times, but now we have to be off book, which I haven't had to learn lines in 15 years.
Can I tell you that?
Oof, it's rough.
I'm really bad at lines. Santa Claus is coming up, right? And the way that show has evolved into, like, I've been a stand-up my whole life, so like bullet points and storytelling is my thing. And the way that I've had to try to get off of lines and cues for whoever my performer is.
For someone else, right? That's what it is.
This year it's Marissa is gonna be America First in Santa Claus, which is fantastic. But also, like, no, I hear you. Lines are not my thing.
And also, like when it's
of any kind.
When it's a play that is like
9:30.
Yeah. When it's a play that's been on the you get the script that you paid the rights for or whatever, and like in a non-equity production, you're just like, oh, I flubbed that line there.
Yeah.
But like the playwright is in the show,
yeah,
and he is the director, and it's like I want to honor the words that he's right. He's like, look, as long as you get this information out, if you change a word here or there, I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have told me that. But, but it's fun, and it's we're going to talk about it next week. We'll have Carl's going to be on. Whatever.
I have also found that I'm a little married to the jokes that I write in scripts.
Oh, that's one thing. The joke has to land.
Yeah,
but the of or the or like those words, unless you're Pinter doing a pause or like whatever. So tickets are on sale now for the Cody plays. Tomorrow there is Harborfest at the Canteen.
This is a new thing.
Yeah, it's a new thing. I was at the PBG meeting last night. I was talking to Tor, who is working for the oyster grants, the shellfish industry, et cetera. I was talking with Michael Shute as well. Mermaid experience, I don't know, it's mermaid something. Anyway, they are getting education to people out on the oyster flats.
Yes.
And I was hearing these things that they're going to be coming forward. So as part of their sort of getting the word out to our beautiful harbor and what aquaculture, blue economy can come out of it, there is a Harbor Fest tomorrow at the Canteen from 11 to 3. And show up early, you get 6 free oysters.
Okay.
That have been provided by a local oyster fishermen or oystermen and women.
Oyster folk.
Oyster folk. And that comes from an economic...
Oysterers.
That's supported by an economic development grant as well. So check that out. And there's going to be more programming. There's rumor that they're going to have sort of a community grant of oysters. So you don't have like a whole acre to take care of. You just have a little plot of oysters.
So like a community garden.
Like a community garden, but under the sea. Like an octopus's garden.
What? All right.
But that's coming up. But so there's lots of cool things because we recognize there's an invasive algae that we want to kill, but there's other algae that we want and seaweed that we want to incorporate into the town, into the harbor. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. So check out that tomorrow. Also, if you are in the Wellfleet area, the Spiritus movie is showing all weekend. They extended it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Yay. I
so
really,
that's going
really
on
want
this
to
whole
see that.
weekend. The showtimes are listed on the screen because I don't know them, but we had Michael Kohler on to talk about that movie, and it's a really cool document of the history of Spiritus, but it touches on the AIDS crisis and activism and stuff like that. It's more than just a movie about a slice of greasy pizza.
I'm really excited to see that. And on side note, other exciting thing I have this weekend, Saturday, I pick up salmon. Now, this is a big deal in lesbian life. It's a fish pickup day. I don't know if you know.
Go on.
As a matter of fact, we're going as a group. Do you know Katie Townsend, fisher person out of Wellfleet, captain, data fisher?
Yeah.
She's involved in a lot of sustainable practices, goes to Alaska, fishes for sockeye salmon, brings it back, sells it like a CSA, like come buy 20 pounds bulk.
Oh, cool.
Sustainable salmon. And so I called Justine and J Boom because even though we're very good lesbians, 20 pounds is too much fish for me and my girlfriend. And so called another lesbian pair. We're like, hey, let's go in, and went in on this bulk salmon purchase. So Saturday, if you've purchased your salmon, it's salmon pickup day at the Truro Vineyards. And so we'll go out and pick up.
Does it come filleted? Does it come prepped?
You can order filleted or portions.
Okay.
So different variations, but yeah, individually packaged,
Oh.
portioned out that you can freeze and have salmon all winter.
Will you make sure you let me know for next time?
I will make
Yes,
sure.
that is
I've been telling
awesome thing.
I've been telling everybody about it because I really love Caitlin Townsend, and I think she's a real badass.
Anything we can do to support. I mean, obviously, technically, that's not local, but it is a local.
But it
network.
is.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
is, you know.
It's locally. It's brought here. It's sustainable in that way because we don't have salmon in these. Not yet. We don't have salmon in these waters yet.
No,
But-
exactly. And so it's a way to, and I eat a lot of salmon, and so it's a great way to support a local fisher person and have sustainably caught wild caught salmon.
Yeah, I guess Oyster Fest was crazy last week.
Yeah.
It's too crowded for me, so I don't go.
I've never been, and because it's always fallen around Women's Week.
Yeah, sure.
And so I've always been working, but maybe next year.
Maybe next year. I guess like this Sunday.
Like
is
this
the-
Sunday,
is-
yeah.
Anyway, anything else that we need to touch on? Because we have a lot of cool guests that I want to make sure that. they
No,
have
I
some
mean
time.
let's
right.
get to guests.
Let's get to guests. So we're going to have Sam give you the roundup of everything that's going on this week. Take it away, Sam.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Wake Up Weekly Roundup with me, Sam Sewell, for the week of October 24th through October 30th. We are getting closer to Spooky Bear, but to start off, as always, because it's my platform, I will shamelessly promote the show that I'm in, Clue. Come see Clue down in Harwich at the Harwich Junior Theater, and you can see this. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job, so you're not going to want to miss this. It's honestly what we need right now. Come see me in Clue. Get your tickets. Starting today on Friday, actually what's been going on all week, shout out to Trans Week going strong. It's awesome to see y'all out there in Provincetown. And tonight, it's the Follies at 8 p.m. at the Crown and Anchor. So join Erin and Nick as the Follies take way. Congratulations to everyone that participates in the Follies. Also tonight starts Sabrina, the Middle-Aged Witch at the Post Office Cafe. I can't wait. Sabrina was a big part of my childhood, so I can't wait to see what these folks have done with this. The pictures have been quite tantalizing. Congratulations, Kaya, Delta, and Roxy. Then on Saturday, also at the Post Office Cafe, you can catch Spooky's Helltown Burlesque. This week, it will be hosted by Billie Jean from Illusions, and it's honestly one of the best shows in town. Speaking as someone that does participate in the show, so I get to see it every week, please come out and support Spooky's Helltown Burlesque and all the cast and crew that help make this show possible. It's really great. Then later on, you can support Tiny Disco by Dominica, Dance for Inspiration, playing every month, and this month on October 25th over at the Grotto Bar at 8 p.m. Then on Sunday, have you checked out Anita Cocktails Drag Brunch? There aren't many left, so you're going to want to check this out over at the Crown and Anchor. Also, at the Commons, Weird, Wild, and Withering is having their workshop from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Get your flower on. Then on Monday, because Bob Curie cannot be on the show today, I will promote his show Goodnight Provincetown, happening at 9 p.m. on October 27th, live at the Post Office Cabaret. Then on Wednesday at Pam, you can get the tour of Blanche Lazelle, Becoming an American Modernist. This tour is included with a $15 museum admission. It's also free for members. Tours will be hosted on 11/12 and 11/26 if you cannot catch it today as well. Also, on Wednesday and on Thursday, the 29th and 30th, you can catch Dark Tales Told on an autumn eve at the Provincetown Inn with the Helltown Players. I always love to tell stories around this time, and the spookier, the better. So go check this out at the Provincetown Inn. Then on Thursday, supporting Indigenous and trans communities, in honor of Indigenous People Day and Provincetown Trans Week, the Business Guild presents an online panel discussion exploring the urgent need for intentional and intersectional allyship with Indigenous and trans communities. The online workshop is free, but an RSVP is required, so go check them out at the PBG website. Then later on that day, Miss Bearded Mistress is back at 7:30 p.m. over at the Crown and Anchor. And honestly, if you haven't seen this yet, go and check this out. And you can dance the night away because it's spooky season with the House of Spirits, their annual dance party over at the Gifford House with a 9 p.m. red carpet, and it's DJ'd by Lazarella. There are so many spooky events coming up for Spooky Bear. Next week I will have the full lineup, but I hope you've gotten your costumes together because it will be a full weekend of events. As always, if you have anything you'd like to promote, please email me at wakeuproundup@gmail.com or at me on Instagram. and I will see you out there. I love all the pumpkins I'm seeing, you guys. Be safe.
Thank you, Sam. Lots of things going on. Check them all out. Folks, please welcome Erin, Daly, and LaValle from Trans Week. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
I wanted to congratulate you on the 51st annual Trans Week, and welcome to town.
Thank you. So good to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the history of this week and the changes, etc.
Right. But before I do that, I just wanted to, again, thank you for welcoming us on the stage here to talk about the week, talk about things that are going on, not only with the event, but the community. And I watch the show every week, and I love seeing you every week, and I love the new show. So just wanted to point that out.
Thank you.
But for Trans Week, formerly known as Fantasia Fair, began 51 years ago. This is our 51st year. And we are humbly and honored to be the longest running theme week in Provincetown history. So that's pretty cool. We're also the longest running trans-centric event in the entire world.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we have quite a bit of history there. And one thing that began 51 years ago is that in the emerging gender community, there was a need for people to be able to embrace their authentic selves, which did not exist across the country. And sadly, as we're moving forward, it seems like we're going backwards instead of forwards, right? We'll talk more about that in a sec. But, so the event itself has evolved through all these years, and we've added things, and we've recognized that, the trans experience is much more than skin, what you see. It really runs deeper than that. People's internal selves are just as beautiful as their outside selves. And when they experience that, it's a wonderful thing to see. And we added, different things for people to feel that expression, from talent shows to spoken word. And we have our crown jewel tonight that's been going on for a long time. And Erin can talk about how that's affected in the development she's seen in people when they come to this event, participate in this show, and how they just emerge. And it is an amazing thing to experience. Unfortunately, with coming into this event this year, it's been really a challenge out there in the world. We all know what's going on with, and if you know it, you know it. If you're in the community, and at one time, you're afraid of your own shadow. Now you're afraid of getting attacked. You're afraid of a lot of things that are going on in the world that is preventing people from coming and experience it. In fact, this is the first year, sadly, that I can report that we haven't had one attendee from outside the country. This is a worldwide attracting event except for this year. We had many people afraid to come in, cross the borders, because of fear of not being able to get back or placed in some sort of detention. And that's the reality. And again, if you know it, you know it. There's others that are afraid to fly on TSA because of if they're bringing some clothes that don't match their what is trad, I guess, traditional, what people expect, then there's a fear-based situation. This is all has nothing to do with any referendum about not being felt welcome in this event or Provincetown. It's external pressures that are going there. And if that's not bad enough, we get into the event and we face more headwinds in the community with announcements of health care being denied and rolled back and eliminated from people that need it the most. And we're under siege, and I'm telling you that this is just the tip of the iceberg. And even locally, OHS announced, On Cape Health Services announced that they're rolling back their care as well too to
and
the
that's
community.
For people under 19, to receive gender-affirming treatment. Outer Cape Health Services just announced that they were going to stop care for under 19 to provide these things. There are other resources on Cape Cod, but Outer Cape Health is not going to be able to provide that anymore and as they say, due to subsidies that they get from the federal government. They are preemptively.
Yeah, that's the part I don't like. I don't like the part about complying in advance, right? I feel like there's a lot of threats being made, and this administration talks. And if every time a threat is made, we go, well, all right, well, then we'll just pack this up and stop what we're doing. I don't know. I would have if there's going to be a gap in service, I would have preferred that the gap in service happen after you push the boundaries, after you stand by the trans community, and then let them remove it. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right. Like if that be bold enough for that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is certainly a viable statement.
Right.
And we embrace your community when you guys are here for the week, but also there are a lot of people that are here year round that need this care. And deserve to have this care because it is gender affirming, it is life affirming.
Sure is.
I'm sure you know.
Yeah. So that's the dark part of the story. Let's talk a little bit more about the lighter part of the story.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly, this week that we're going on right now is really been an amazing week so far. It has a different personality. All these events have different personalities. In this one, we had a tremendous partnership with the PBG with their Autumn One, and I think Rachel was here last week to talk a little bit about that. And not only that, too, the PBG was in the businesses a lot, have really been supportive of us over the years. We'd like to build off of that going forward, certainly. I know we saw a nice little TikTok video of somebody going around and putting trans flags all across the businesses. I want to talk about warming your heart before you even walk into town. People see that, and that means a lot to us to be able to walk the town and to feel welcome and reinforce that positivity to these people that need it the most, that, coming to the oasis of Provincetown that we all love. And the crown jewel of that, like I said, is the Follies. Talk about the Follies and tell us what that means to the participants.
Sure. I'm really excited to let the town and let everybody else see the amazing talent that people pull together in a matter of days. I mean, people have no idea how fast this show comes together, in that none of us have ever really met. I mean, some of us have met over the years, but we have bands that come together. We have a trumpet player this year. We have pianists. We have spoken word. We have comedy, and this stuff has all been put together in a matter of days. And so it's exciting, and it gives these people a chance that for 51 weeks a year they don't have a voice, maybe, and they can come here and get on a stage in front of an adoring crowd, because the P-Town crowd is always amazing, and have that moment for themselves. And this year, more than ever, with everything else that's going on, it's so important. And I'm so personally thankful for everything that the town of Provincetown has done, and the PBG, and you specifically, because Marc will be helping me backstage.
I have stage managed this event for many, many years.
And it's so appreciative that how much all of you care, and you open your hearts to us, and you let all of us amateurs join your professional stages, and it's just so lovely, and I thank you all so much.
And it is a great turnout, and it is, I'm backstage, and everyone's, like nervous, and you have some pros.
Yes,
we do. Dallas and others, but it is always wonderful to see like someone who's not done it before, who's like out in their real self, authentic self, presenting to the world themselves and who they are and stuff like that on a stage in front of their peers, but also in front of strangers, because people from town love to come to the town show.
Oh yeah.
So.
This year specifically, we've got something a little special planned. That's a secret that I don't want to tell anybody, but it's really kind of neat. I'm very proud of it, the work that myself, Nick, and Barbara Curry has done to put this together, and in a lot of ways, my wife of 11 years that we just celebrated our anniversary yesterday. We were married right here in Provincetown, so this place is very special to us both.
Awesome.
So,
and you can still get tickets tonight.
Yes,
to the
at the
town
door.
At the door. $20 at the door.
At the door,
Here
yes.
at the Crown and Anchor. Showtime is 8.
Correct, and you get a free mini trans flag.
Oh, great.
And all the tips that you generously give, we're going to donate to Skip, because Skip is one of our favorite charities to donate on an annual basis. We know that when the kitchen opens up in a few weeks, and how important it is to this community. We like to leave Provincetown, maybe unlike some people or other groups, we like to leave Provincetown better than when we arrived.
4th of July.
Yeah. No, and you've always throughout the event, any events that make money, there's always been a give back to the town. Did you like a defibrillator?
Yeah, a segue to the police department one year.
No, I know, but there's always been some concrete give back to the town, which, as you say, isn't a lot of the other events that come during the week.
Speaking of, just to kind of meld all this together, I was just thinking about the healthcare cuts, and there's also this moment that I think we should really lean into as a community where the end of the year is coming, and a lot of these health clinics are not-for-profits and tax write-offs. And so there's going to be a choice at the end of this year. Where do you want to give that money to the federal government, or do you want to make sure that the money that you made can be donated to groups that will put into action, right? And I think that in healthcare, specifically queer and trans healthcare, there's a really great opportunity for a lot of people who have a lot of money, hello Laverne Cox, to like make donations to organizations that can fill the gap that's about to happen. And it's a win-win for everybody. And it's just something I've been thinking a lot about.
Well, a lot of us here that come to this week think of Provincetown as our second home. So giving back is very important to all of us.
And it is a wonderful event, and the embracing of a new generation of folks that are on the gender spectrum has been a concerted effort that you guys have done.
I just wanted to mention about that. We had, with the PBG, we worked through, we had upwards of 30 people, 30 young trans, queer kids that walked from, you want to talk about pronouns, some pronouns I've never even heard before, from A to Z, you know, that went through. But there was such an energy for us this week, and you know, and all the things we talked about healthcare really affect them, a lot of them directly. But we're not alone, because you know what this Project 25 is all about? This is the first wave, the second wave, and the third wave. And ultimately, the direction here is to get rid of marriage equality. That's what's going to happen. They're going to want to wipe us all out. So, you know, we need to stand loud and proud, and that's what Trans Week is basically standing up for. You know, we're trying to persevere through all this.
That's right.
And we're trying to provide, you know, the support and the services that people can come and, like I said, you know, feel beautiful in themselves internally, because in some way that's the only thing they have to hold on to.
Especially when they're going back to other parts of the country that you know isn't this little magical bubble at the end of the sandbar that welcomes you for a week. So, thank you for continuing the tradition, expanding the tradition. Come out tonight to the talent show. It's a great, fun event, and it is a loving event. And thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
You guys are wonderful.
Anytime.
They can follow you out there too as well for listening to us today.
So I got to sit down with two of the participants of the PPG's Autumn 1 program. Take a look at this.
Hold on for 1 second.
Oh, yes.
I love, both your nails are slaying. Everyone went a little glitter. Okay.
Okay, take it away, Sam.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here in the very cozy Somerset House with two of the participants of this year's Autumn 1 program, which is a new program that the PPG has set up working with guest house owners, transportation companies, and the organizers of Trans Week to bring new people to Provincetown to experience Trans Week for the first time. I'm here with Colleen and Sonata. Tell us a little about your story. How did you get here?
Yeah, so this is our first time at Trans Week, but I have pretty deep roots in the area. My mom is from here, my dad is from here, my whole extended family is from here, but I've never lived here. I lived in Central Virginia for a long time, and I would take visits when I was a kid, but never as an adult by myself. So we met like 2.5 years ago. We've been dating for 2.5 years, and we moved in together in Chicago. And while I was living in Chicago, my mom sent me a Facebook link and was like, oh, you know, try this Autumn 1 thing. And I was like, oh, you know, whatever, sure. And I wasn't expecting to actually get accepted. So, you know, now I'm here. It's been fantastic, honestly.
I'm Sonata. I'm a Chicago native. Well, Evanston native, if I'm being honest. But I live in Chicago now, and I've never been to Provincetown before, and I've never been to Cape Cod before. So this is all very exciting.
And what the good thing about this program is, you know, we all know it's expensive to come here, and so having these different partners work with the Provincetown Business Guild to get younger people who are on whatever the spectrum is to come for this week to be in a safe space, hopefully in a welcoming space, and participate in programming that you don't get elsewhere. As I perceive it, a sort of generational shift in this week, and a lot of the older participants have been coming here for 30 years to participate in Fantasia Fair, which has now been rebranded and grown as an organization to bring people on all parts of the spectrum together for this week. Do you notice a any sort of pushback, or do you
No,
feel
everybody
welcomed
seems
into-
very glad that we're
Yes.
here.
Okay,
like
We walk into stores, we walk into bars, and they're like, "Oh,
young people, yeah, they love us. They're like, "Oh, it's great to have rookies here."
in the town full of geriatric gays.
Right.
It's nice to have some young people that are here.
But it's really nice for us to be able to talk with, like that thing you were talking about, where it feels like.
Oh, can I say it?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, so as a younger trans woman and lesbian, I feel oftentimes very disconnected from this kind of community because people with my particular identity, even in a lot of queer communities, are still not very welcome. So a lot of the time, young transgender women have kind of a very insular community that's really removed from all this sort of stuff. But then I come here and like a huge portion of the participants are older trans women. So the joke I made is that like I'm staring at the precursor civilization that paved the way for me.
Well, and that is a great point, because I think in today's society, and we're not going in the negative of today's society, but in the positive of today's society, where you can go online, where you can find a community and stuff. And a lot of these participants that are here for 30 years, like, there was no internet, there was no, like, oh, I can go on this thing, whatever. And so, you know, for their participation here, they've been coming here for years. This is their sort of 1 week a year where they can feel like an embrace of a community that accepts them and knows what they're going through and knows whatever. And I think that, not to say you guys have it easier than other people, but
It's very different.
It's very different.
Much so.
So to acknowledge that, like, you guys are, you guys paved the way, and we're sort of standing on the shoulders.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I think is an important part of this story.
Yes.
I mean, as I'm sure you're aware, Chicago is also an extremely gay city.
It is. It's a great place to be gay.
It
There's
is.
a very vibrant community of especially trans women, and I'm very lucky to have deep roots in a city like that, where I have a lot of excellent access to a community.
And then we came here, and it's like that, but concentrated.
Right, in a small little fishing village at the end.
Yes.
Of the
Exactly.
What do you hope at the end of this few days to bring back with you to Chicago?
Oh, that's a good question. I've had lots of really wonderful long conversations with the older trans women that are here, and I don't know if I have any particular takeaways, but it's just so like it just really fills your heart.
Right.
You know? It's really,
Yes.
like,
I feel like I've already gained a lot. Like just on pure virtue of being here and seeing what it's like. That's already a lot to take back with me.
We're already making plans to come back next year for Pride.
That's what we want to hear.
We felt extremely welcome.
We did. Yes.
Great.
Absolutely.
We went to Womancraft and we were offered the Dyke discount.
We were.
It was very fun, very welcoming. Everyone is very enthusiastic to, tell us how supportive they are and how happy they are that we're here, and, just reaffirming shared interests and politics and whatnot.
Very much so. Even though it's really different from the sort of community I have back home, I still feel very welcomed.
Great. Well, thank you all for taking a few moments to sit down and chat with me. Thank you for being here. We're so happy that the program exists to bring you guys out here.
Thank you.
Spread the word.
Yes.
Hopefully there'll be more participants next year. Check out all the events that's going on. Check out the talent show tonight at the Crown and Anchor as part of Trans Week, and we'll catch you later. Thanks, guys. Please welcome to the show Mr. David Dunlap. How are you, David?
Greetings. I'm fine on this glorious day, and I've had a marvelous 3 weeks photographing interiors of houses in Provincetown for my Provincetown Encyclopedia. This is a website that's a continuation of my 2015 book, Building Provincetown. Because it's on the web, it allows me to expand, update, and have as many images as possible, as well as to correct entries, and also to invite comments sometimes. Yes.
Wow.
I've had great.
I was with you
luck.
right up until inviting comments.
I've had great luck on Building Provincetown. I think just the nature of the site is such that the people who come with generous offerings of family history or the history of a given boat or the history of a given building. I've had very, very few crazies.
Well, be prepared. Speaking of crazies, there's been a lot of, a lot of announcements this week or in the past couple of weeks about businesses closing and businesses changing hand. Everybody laments, oh, the town is changing and it won't be the same. And we're like, girl, there's always been businesses closing. There's always been changing of hands of property. And you can speak to this because you know the history of these properties.
Provincetown is innately a place of change. It has been from the very beginning. It started out, its first principal industry was salt, the evaporation of sea salt. And when salt mines were discovered and could be successfully mined, there went the salting industry. So we turned to whaling. And that Provincetown, I think, was the #3 whaling town in America. And then they discovered oil, and there went the need for whales, and we started fishing on the Grand Banks, and then we began trawling, and at each turn, the fundamental identity of Provincetown has changed, and of course, most critically at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century was the arrival of Portuguese from the mainland, from the islands, from the Western Islands, the Azores, and from Cape Verde. And then the art colony and the subsequent growth of the gay and lesbian and transgender community, it has always changed. I'll tell you that when I despair of the changes I've seen, such as the closing of the high school. That was a real fundamental break in the town's identity in 2013 when we graduated 8 young women. And you say, oh my God, what will ever happen? I turn to Mary Heaton Vorse's introduction to her timeless classic, Time in the Town. In 1942, she writes an introduction in which she says, oh, Provincetown, you should have seen it in the good days. It's the fishing fleet has been devastated, and commercial honky tonk has taken over downtown, and I think to myself, reading these words, Mary, you're living in the golden age of Provincetown.
Right, because we never realize. We're always like, oh, the good old days. There used to be better back then, and then you're like, yeah, it's unfortunately human nature, I think. To always look back and say, it was better back then, or whatever,
And I think typically a place is at its best for us when we arrive at it. Everything that happens thereafter is usually sort of the end of the line. I remember, for example, when another telling point was when the Marc Jacobs boutique opened in what had been a shop or a store that sold lobster pots. That was seen as a transitional moment.
Yeah, we're like, oh, this thing is taking.
What a stark contrast.
It is, but I do remember at that time people were like, oh, Marc Jacobs is coming in, whatever, and then Marc Jacobs helped to pay for the company of Marc Jacobs through his business partner, helped to pay for some of the renovations of Town Hall. They installed did some of the renovations of the library and stuff. Like there is generosity through wealth that has happened over the years, and I think people always tend to forget about that because they just see the outward expression of wealth. Like, oh, they're taking this house that was all cute in Cape Cod and run down, and they blew it out, and they made it all. It looks like Disneyland.
Well, my genuine concern is. There's a lot of smart and generous money that's come in. There are people who respect the town history and try to understand it. My genuine concern is people with money who have no connection and no interest in connecting themselves to Provincetown. And these are the people who, when the waters rise or when there are other circumstances, will be the first ones to uproot themselves. Yep. And leave behind what? The Portuguese families who are still here are multi-generational. I've been meeting people on this trip who have been here 5, 6, 7 generations, and that's a lamentable development, I think.
I think we could all agree that if someone's just coming into any space for maybe, I don't know, 4 years and decides to demolish history to rebuild something that they like, that maybe that would, I think that there's a connection to be made here. That some historical buildings sometimes,
Sort of the eastern end of
perhaps the
historical
eastern
building,
end,
just
you
as a
don't want to see it
hypothetical.
getting demolished just so somebody can gold lame for their couple seasons here, right?
And which would, so talk about history. We talk about the Sass House.
Yes.
Which you know all of the history of it and all of its iterations.
Not all of it, but enough to know that first of all, it's a beautiful house. It's a stick style. That was a kind of a 19th century American architectural style. It's so called because of many articulated structural elements, so that it kind of looks as if it were made out of sticks. If you stretch
Kind of is.
and I'm
Thick
hearing
sticks,
on the
but
program,
sticks nonetheless.
yes, some of the bearing sticks are showing their age. It was inhabited, very importantly for the history of Provincetown art, by an artist named Garrett Benneker. And Garrett Benneker created one of the iconic images of Provincetown from the early 20th century. There was a mechanic by the name of Tony Avalar, whose family is the family associated most closely with what is now known as Poor Richard's Landing. Tony Avalar is a mechanic. I think Garrett Benneker goes into a shop to have his automobile fixed. Avalar offers him a cigarette and strikes a pose inadvertently, unconsciously, that inspires Benneker to paint him as a model, to use Tony Avalar as a model for a poster that the United States government used to raise money to finance the World War I. The public was called upon, but in both of the world wars, to lend the government money, and with a guaranteed return of X%. These are known as war bonds.
War bonds, yep.
And one of the most famous war bond paintings, posters of the First World War, is Tony Avalar striking this pose as a mechanic with just a look of great confidence and rootedness to him, and the caption is, "Sure, we'll finish the job." And that all ties into that house.
Did Tony Avalar ever own that house?
And a year after he's painted by Garrett Benneker, Tony Avalar buys the house and lives there for many years, has among his guests Sinclair Lewis. Then the house is purchased, I forget in what year, but by Ricky Swin, whose name at birth was Richard. She was born in Chicago. She became an industrialist. I think it was a plastic injection molding company called Tech Air, and her devotion was to recording and educating people on trans history. So she created something called the Ricky Swin Institute, and their holdings are now at the University of Victoria in British Columbia, which was where she lived. And among the holdings of the Ricky Swin Institute are the papers of Erin Kane, pertinent to the founding in 1975 of Fantasia Fair, the predecessor of Trans Week.
Wow, we curated this.
I have a question for you,
Sure.
if I may, because the house was later purchased by Baldwin and Mitnick. I think that was the couple who turned it into
Rue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And every room was a different theme and a different color. Is that still? Did you paint it over that? Or
So well, a little bit bright to a little bit like sexy. And then we actually had a partnership with All Modern Furniture, who came in and did paint, and it's much light and airier now, right? What our challenge was if we're bringing in, 18 to 20-year-olds, how does this space feel comfortable for them, right? Because the idea is not to move you somewhere where you're afraid you're going to break something, right? So how do we honor the history of this space while also making sure that it feels accessible to a generation who, to people who maybe aren't used to living in a $3.7 million mansion, right? And we do that by breaking everything. No, I'm kidding.
I remember when you got a lot of this. I don't need 27 vases. These kids can't flop on this couch.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and we had, had to talk to the designers about it and make sure it's sturdy and make sure that they can do that. So it was just a lot of brighter colors on the walls, more than anything else. Everything structurally is still the same. Probably better now. We've done a lot of repairs on some of the rotted wood and whatnot. But it does feel, I personally, and people have said this to me, it feels unlike any other space in town when you walk in because it is infused with a younger vibe and a creative vibe and a more diverse vibe, and the art reflects that, and the feels of the feel of the space reflects that.
I come see it.
Please, I'll be there later.
Wonderful, and it also what you're describing in making it feel comfortable seems to me true to the spirit of Provincetown. That the older residences and homes and guest houses that we celebrate. I think of Stormy Mayos, the Cape Codder, are places where you don't fear as if you're going to elbow something that's going to shatter and set you back $500,000. You just can come in and live there.
And I think the bones of it is that is true because it's been there since 1880. Yes. Right? Like we had this moment the other day where something happened. I was like, I don't know, these floors have been here longer than any of us, and we'll be here long after we're gone. Right. Let's just mop it up. Like you just have these moments where you're like, because we don't want all of the care to be left to 19-year-olds, right? We do have somebody who can and Ethan helps steam the floors and make sure that there's a general maintenance that happens, right? But it does feel like something that you can kind of, it's a sturdy ship.
That's great. A sturdy ship.
A sturdy ship. It was there. Everything was built like ships back then. A lot of the stuff on the waterfront was designed to flood and drain.
Yep.
And now it's all sheetrock and granite countertops that can't flood these that are now $5 million. You don't want it to flood, but back then it was like, sure, the storm is going to come, it's going to flood, and it's going to drain out and fine.
Cheap technology.
One of the elements, in fact, of that shipbuilding technology that spilled over into homes and businesses were those ship ladder stairs with that incredible ratio between the high riser and the very narrow tread. And one of the first of those that I saw was in a house on Cudworth occupied by Jessica Lima, who was a lovely, lovely woman. I believe she died at the age of 100.
Wow.
And
climbing those stairs.
Great life.
Well, no, that's I
kept her alive till 100.
I met her in her maybe mid to late 80s, and she allowed me to walk around the house and photograph it, and it was a time capsule. And after walking through the house and almost falling off these stairs myself, I came into the living room and I said, Mrs. Lima, surely you don't use those. There was a set of back stairs that had a normal. I said, you don't use these stairs. No, I haven't been on those stairs in 6 months. Oh, okay. Yeah, 88 is when you really want to
Well, she finally was like, this is the cutoff.
Right.
Oh my God. There's so many these fascinating facets of these historic buildings. And your book, which everyone, can use, is it out of print or one can?
No, happily, thank goodness. The Building Provincetown was first published by the town in 2015 with a community preservation grant, and we went through 2 printings of that in black and white, and then the town quite reasonably said, we're not in the business of book publishing. We've really got to stop this. So the book was orphaned for a while. Jeff Peters at East End Books were really kept pushing me, you've got to do a new edition, or you've got to continue the book. And Liz Winston and Irene Lipton at the Provincetown Arts Press, thank you, came to the rescue and said, we'd like to pick it up, and we think it ought to be done in color. And I'm kind of a traditionalist when it comes to architectural photography, which is usually best in black and white without the distraction of a lot of color. They said, if you have the files, let's print it in color. And it was a revelation. Right. I was just so delighted. So we had a third printing by the Provincetown Arts Press, and now we're in our fourth printing, which also includes a hardcover volume. Which is priced well beyond my ability to afford it. But it apparently, Jeff tells me it sells very, very well. It's all frozen in 2015. I haven't done any updating. So the Provincetown you see in that book is the Provincetown of 2015. But a great deal remains. It's just that you won't be able to go to Tips for Tops and get a flipper.
Oh, right.
Well, no, you get
a flipper at Liz's Cafe.
Liz does,
change happens.
But the website's updated pretty regularly, right? Or no?
I try to, but my real emphasis now is to complete what I call is the shell of the encyclopedia, get all of the addresses on there, and then backfill. So it really will be my life expectancy, I think, is about 11, 12 years. And I hope to have it sort of finished by the time I'm finished.
All right.
Look for David's book on building problems.
I'm giving you 15
at your local bookstore, and pay attention for the future of the encyclopedia.
Well, which you can find now at ptownencyclopedia.com.
Amazing. ptownencyclopedia.com. So check it out. David, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you on. Always to have you talk about everything you do. I could say listen to him for 25 hours. Thank you so much.
Come see the house.
And now we have the weather.
Good morning, everyone, and greetings from beautiful Fire Island, one of my favorite places in the whole world. I'm down here visiting some friends, but I'll be back in time for tea dance later today. It's been a very mild but gorgeous week in P-Town. Let's take a look at the weather. Mild, light breezes and highs near 53, followed by a few overnight showers that may linger into early Saturday before clearing under a north wind with another high around 53. Sunday brings a touch more warmth with a mix of sun and clouds and a few scattered near 51. The main story for the upcoming week is going to be the wind again. Scattered showers are expected Tuesday and Wednesday, but the steady rain doesn't look likely until Thursday as a low-pressure system could ramp up significantly, potentially reaching 60 to 70 miles an hour on Thursday night, all coming from the northeast. As of now, models suggest setting up what could be a beautiful Spooky Bear weekend. So stay tuned. As for hours, and again in the early afternoon this weekend, but nothing dramatic to report, so no issues for my creatures of the night. This weekend brings our regular tea lineup, Dog Tag Tea today, and it's the last one of the season. Come as you are tea on Saturday and Solid Gold Sunday to close things out. Don't forget the Bowie Bar, martinis, cocktails, or an afternoon on our sunny patio. Then next weekend, Spooky Bear kicks off with Disco Zombie Tea on Thursday the 30th at 4, followed by one of our biggest teas of the year, and Spooky Bear Tea on Saturday, both extended to 9 p.m., Plenty of time for costume changes. We'll wrap it all up on Sunday with another Disco Zombie Tea at 4. Rooms are sold out for Spooky Bear Weekend, but we do have availability this weekend for last-minute adventures and during the Food and Wine Festival when we officially wrap up the season on November 9th. And a quick appointments are always available, easy to book, and they're here to keep you safe and healthy and horny. Give them a call at 774-538-3350 to book an appointment. That's it for me. Everyone have a fantastic. I'll see you later today at tea. Marc, Kristen, back to you at the brewery.
Thank you, Sean, as always, for the weather. Now, please welcome Parker Mumford from the Provincetown Independent. As one of the young writing staff there. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm Parker. I've been working at the Indy for a little over a year now. I did not study journalism, ever. I actually studied fiction writing, which is not the thing that you would really want a journalist to be studying.
I don't know, in this world.
I've learned the ropes, and I really like my work. I think it's a lot of fun.
Where are you from?
I'm from Eastham,
Okay.
born and raised in Eastham. Yeah, I'm actually the only member of my family that was born on Cape Cod, and I take that very personally. It's a claim to fame for me.
Very nice.
And what's your speciality? What are the things that interest you most while you're working on your stories?
So right now, I'm kind of on what I've called the troubled houses beat. I'm the Eastham staff reporter, but I sometimes, move to other towns if there's something that really catches my attention there. The story that I'm working on right now that I find most interesting, which is a great segue from the interview with David, Mary Heaton Vorse, Provincetown legend, actually believed that her house was haunted. And she believed it was haunted by Kitty Cook, an old whaling captain who previously owned the house. And so, because we've got Halloween coming up, and I like to write spooky historical articles when October rolls around, that's kind of what I'm trying to work on. And then in terms of more material news that's going on, Eastham has its own fair share of troubled houses. There's one on a cliff on the ocean side that was on the front page a couple weeks ago, and that is far from the only house that is in danger of tumbling into the sea over there.
If you don't know anything on the ocean side of all of Cape Cod, has a timestamp if the property backs up to the national seashore. And you only have so many times you can move that house before the government's like, well, you got no place else to go.
Out of room.
And we are what's called a temporary landmass. All of Cape Cod and all of Long Island will be in the sea within 700 years.
700 feels like a long time, but it's really not.
It's not, and that's the outside number. It's going to be a lot sooner than that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you look at the rate at which some of these places are eroding, and it's honestly pretty terrifying. The house that I wrote about a couple weeks ago, I hadn't had a chance to go out there with a ruler and measure how far it is from the cliff. So I looked at old property maps and said, well, it was 25 feet from the edge about a decade ago, so let's say it's 20 feet from the edge. And then I spoke with the town manager, Jackie Beebe, and she said it is 5 from the edge now.
Wow.
So I mean, different parts of the Cape erode at different rates, and once again, this house that I wrote about is far from the only one that's having these issues, and I kind of hope to start delving into the others. But yeah, the Eastham bluff over Nauset Light Beach is especially fast eroding.
And those erosion rates are feet a year. And in some of the spots, mostly in Eastham.
It just takes one good storm.
Yeah.
Right, the right storm that hits the right angle, and you chew 20 feet off a beach.
Right.
Yes.
And then that sand eventually comes up and fills in our harbor, which is why a lot of the flooding issues we have is because the harbor is less deep. So it's all connected.
Maybe eventually that's where they can move the houses too.
Oh, yeah, why not?
Hey.
I think that's a perfect idea. No,
David's laughing over there.
That, yeah.
And just for the record, you said Kimmy is haunting Mary Heaton Vorse's house?
Kippy
Um,
Cook.
Sam lives at our house. We don't know who Sam is, but she is whoever haunts our house at the Sass house. And so I'm just wondering if they are having teas. So things happen at the Sass house. So I'm hoping that Kippy and Sam have afternoon tea.
What other haunted house? I mean, well, if you take the paranormal ghost tour, you take any of the ghost tours, are there any other major haunted houses that you know? Just because you have an interest in this.
Yes. So last year, my story wasn't necessarily about a single house that was haunted. Last year, I wrote about our very own Black Flash, who I think a lot of Provincetownites are familiar with. If there's anyone watching who is not familiar, he or it was essentially a...
They, if you will.
Yeah. They were a strange figure that wore a black cape and had this weird metallic helmet on their face, and they were very fast and could breathe fire and could leap tall buildings in a single bound. And they were, that was around the early 20th century that they were.
Wait, I'm not allowed to have a wood fire in my backyard, but we can have a creature just spitting fire around this tinderbox?
Yeah, back then, we could just have big pyres in the middle of the street back then. Yeah.
For the witches.
There were no witches burned in Massachusetts. They were hung or crushed. Well, that was...
Really?
Yeah, there were no actual witch burnings in Massachusetts.
What? This whole time?
Yeah, I know. It is a little apocryphal.
Did we ever do the thing where we throw them in the water and say, oh, if they drown, they're not a witch.
I don't know that about
you
here,
know
but that did happen in Connecticut where I grew
Yes,
up. So
okay.
yeah. Oh, New England, full of Puritan magic.
Silly.
Yes.
I understand there is a photo contest that's happening at the Independent.
Yes, so this was something that I really wanted to kind of spread the word about. At the Independent, we're doing a 2025 photo contest. Any photo that was taken in the year 2025 is fair game, which means that you have until the end of December to actually take photos and submit them. We are, I actually wrote down the categories.
I was going to say, are there categories?
Yeah, we've got
Okay,
7
great,
kind of esoteric categories. People.
Fair.
Secret places.
Okay.
Ooh.
Land and sea, that is one category. Hope. Drag. Nighttime.
Okay.
And animals.
All right.
So we've got 7 categories that we're accepting submissions for. You can submit 2 photos per category, so that's up to 14 submissions per person.
All right.
The best in show will win a 1-year membership to PAM, the Pilgrim Monument and Museum, or Mass Audubon, you choose. And the winner in each category will get a year's subscription to the Indie for themselves or a friend.
Excellent.
We are welcoming all submissions. Please go to provincetownindependent.org/photo-contest.
Ooh,
Okay.
You knew all of this.
All right, I'm excited.
We love the Independent, and that's why you guys are always on the show, because it is a vibrant local newspaper with local stories written by local people. The first person ever in his family to be born on Cape Cod in Eastham. That's hyper local, and it's a great newspaper to support. So if you don't have a subscription, please get a subscription to the Provincetown Independent. Support their Young Journalism Project as well, local journalism project.
Yes, if you don't have a subscription and you think you're a good photographer, maybe your photo could actually pay for your subscription.
Very good.
We'll do that
And y'all have that camera in your
I'm
pocket?
sending photos in.
Okay, which category are you going to send
I
it
have
for?
I have some animal action happening, and I think I might even have a nighttime. I'm thinking about my photos that I've taken.
As we speak, that's
Yep.
cool. Well, Parker, thank you
Not
for
that I'm not
coming.
present and listening to everything.
Oh,
you're
you are fully present. Your presence is present enough. Thank you so much for coming today, Parker. Do you have anything else that we missed chatting about?
You know, if I forgot anything, I'm sure that you'll read about it in next week's Independent.
So look for Parker's byline, and we look forward to having you back. So you're here for a while, because you're not...
I'm here. I'm here for the foreseeable future.
That's
Yes.
awesome. So that's because you didn't have a journalism major, and you sort of migrated into this.
I found an
thing.
excuse to stay back here on Cape Cod. So
Great reason.
That's a great excuse to
Yeah.
use your creativity to provide information and local color, as they say, to the
Yes.
newspaper. So
Yeah.
thank you for what you do, and thank you to all of our viewers out there and our guests today. Thank you to our sponsors, the Boat Slip, the Crown and Anchor, the Provincetown Brewing Company, the Provincetown Business Guild, Provincetown Television, P-Town Inn, and to viewers like you. We will be hammering home the fact that we need funding to run this show. So please, we will be having a pledge drive coming up to help support us. We are small, we are scrappy, but it does take money to get this show on the air to provide the entertainment and the information we hope that you enjoy. So please look out for that coming soon. And thank you for waking up. Thank you, Kristen.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Parker, David, and Dee, and Erin, and all of our guests. So thanks. We'll see you next week. Thanks for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
There you go.
Hey,
Yay!
are you still allowed to say that? Or
Yeah,
is
we
it-
are. We are.
Okay.
Bye.
Is it trademark?
Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey! Oh! Hey! Wake up, wake up. Oh. No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up.